City officials say they're earmarking money for what's being called a retention bonus. Doctors say it's the #1 piece of playground equipment your child's likely to get hurt on. It's not the slide, it's not the swings. We'll tell you what it is tonight at 11. If you've ever used crutches, you know they can be a real pain, but now some patients are discovering a brand new option. Tonight at 11, I'll show you the hands-free crutch that's so cool, Han Solo himself is using one. When you go to the farmer's market, having a cooler like this one is especially important when you're buying things that need to be kept cool, things like dairy, meat, and poultry. Whether you're out in the woods or just doing some work in your very own backyard, this little can could be your family's best defense against mosquitoes and the spread of West Nile virus. It's a case of too little too late. Even if victims accept GM's compensation plan, it may not mean it's out of hot water. Think your fruits and vegetables are clean? Well, guess again. From spinach to strawberries, most people aren't cleaning their fruits correctly. Tragic is the word. Just hours ago, this was the scene of a senseless killing on Detroit's east side. A little boy, just 8 years old, is dead this morning, the victim of a stray bullet while he slept. Kids may be doing dangerous things with marijuana, and I'm not talking about smoking dope. Consider this a warning. In trying to enhance their highs, they're stooping to new lows. A bustling city street.
We don't use materials like this because they're just not safe enough to work with.
A quiet suburb.
You have a chance of blowing your house up.
It could happen anywhere at any time.
Maybe call the fire department?
Some call it wax or hash oil, others nectar or honey, but most know it by another name. Dab. It's a super concentrated, super powerful form of pot made by forcing liquid butane, essentially lighter fluid, through a cannabis-filled tube.
This would allow you to take, let's say, a large amount of marijuana concentrated to a very small amount.
The problem? Kids aren't chemists.
So that's butane at room temperature.
Butane boils at room temperature, and so when it evaporates, you're left with a sticky yellow glob of concentrated THC, or dab. Scientists say it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, and just like making a cup of coffee.
You take the coffee bean, you pour hot water through it, the flavored agents, the caffeine and everything get extracted. You're doing exactly the same thing, only instead of hot water, you're using butane.
Oakland University chemist Art Bull handles dangerous chemicals on a daily basis. He describes working with butane under these conditions as a recipe for disaster.
If you have a bowl with butane in it and you just allow that to evaporate, your whole room is filled with butane now, and that's an explosive combination.
At that point, all it takes is a single spark. It took less than a milliliter of butane to produce that explosion, roughly 300 times less butane than the amount used in a typical THC extraction. But even so, a little gas goes a long way.
It doesn't take a lot of natural gas to blow up a house, and it doesn't take a lot of butane to do the same thing.
Doctors say that when you're breaking dab, you stand to lose more than just your home. You could lose your life.
They're all putting themselves at risk of severe burns because when this stuff explodes, it causes a highly flammable mixture that'll spread all over your body very quickly.
Every house is 1,001 ignition sources. So sometimes when you're living with dangerous flammable gases, the difference between life and death can sometimes be as simple as a single flame. In Detroit, Charlie Tinker reporting. I flat out ignored my friends and coworkers when they told me I was too tired, but that quickly came back to bite me when I came face to face with the dangers of driving drowsy. The pictures tell the story. I didn't even see it coming. I've been up for nearly 24 hours when I got behind the wheel. Experts say it was an accident waiting to happen.
You can't swerve because your brain is still processing and it's just too late. By the time the signal has reached your arm, it's already done.
And when it comes to drowsy driving, ER Doc Frank McGeorge says early recognition of certain signals is key.
When you're yawning, when you begin to go off on the rumble strip, when you feel like you have to roll down the window and turn up the radio.
But even knowing the signs, most people do as I did. They keep driving.
Most people have a tendency to just say, this is not going to be me, I'll be fine.
But what should you do if you find yourself in that position? Nothing works like a full 8 hours, but you may be able to trick yourself into waking up so you can get home safely.
If you're taking a shorter trip and you're sleep deprived and you're only going to be driving for 10 more minutes, maybe just getting out and walking around the car will be enough to wake you up. But if you know you're going to do another long stretch, you just need to take a nap.
Thankfully, in my case, nobody was hurt, but statistics say not everybody's so lucky. Sleep researchers compare being awake for 18 hours to having a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. And if you're up for a full day, they say it's closer to 0.1%. Legally drunk. It's no surprise then that 3% of all fatal crashes are caused by driving drowsy. It's not just people who work long hours who feel the effects either.
Other people at risk for sleep accidents on the road are people with sleep apnea, for example, or people who are snorers or who have to sleep with snorers, or maybe who have new babies who are up for too long.